So I was at secondary school in Brighton, and then I was really fortunate. I had some people coming to do chamber coaching from London, and one of them was an amazing pianist called Louisa Breen, and she's now in Australia. And she said, well, I think I said to her, look, I want to be a professional cellist. And she said, you should play to this woman called Sue Lowe. And she does a cello course at Eton. And so she gave me the details, and I told my mum, and bless my mum, she'd never driven on the motorway at all. But we, she was determined for me to have this experience. So she drove me up from Brighton to to meet Sue Lowe at Eton for her cello course, and we were there for a day, and it was uh, like the blinds had been opened, because suddenly I was hearing these amazing cellists. I didn't realize the cello could be played so well. I was hearing pieces I'd never heard before. I was hearing teaching in a way that I'd never experienced. And so each Easter I would go to that course, and I ended up doing going to sixth form in a place called Lewis, and that had a really good music course. And I studied with a fantastic cellist called Alison Moncrief Kelly, and she got me ready to audition for music college. And so I ended up going on to study at Birmingham Conservatoire, and I got a scholarship there, and that was all going great-ish. And then it got to my end of my 4 years of undergrad, and I realized that I still couldn't play the cello, or I still couldn't play it professionally.
Right.
And I thought, I'm going to have to do something about this, because this is something I want to do. And the level of my playing and what I was able to do, I just knew wasn't good enough. So I ended up phoning Sue Lowe up, who I met when I was 16, and saying, Sue, have you got any space to take me on, because I'm in trouble here? And she did. And it was one of the best decisions I've made, because we started from scratch, and she helped me just solve all sorts of physical, technical issues, but also creative communication issues. And I can now play the cello, and I can teach the cello, and I love, I feel confident going out and performing and playing to people. So that's kind of my up and down journey of
Yeah.
becoming a
That's amazing.
cellist.
So if you got to the point where you thought, I can't play professionally because you didn't feel good enough, or you
Yeah. So
or,
I mean, like the final recital mark I got and everything was, indicating, it was a 2-1. Everything was saying, everything's in a good place. But I knew deep down that if I was going to play professionally or an audition, I wouldn't get a looking,
right.
because I was aware that there were cellists far, far better than me. And so there was that part. But do you know what? Just deep down, I knew that I knew what I wanted to express in my playing, and it wasn't coming through. It was like there was a block.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'd say it's getting a bit emotional here. Um, I'd say around 16, I had ideas of how I wanted to play and how I sounded, and it just wasn't coming out. And so with Sue I mean, she's a phenomenal teacher. She lives up in Yorkshire, and she's really down to earth, so caring, but also just very honest about how things are. 2 years into studying with her, and I remember the day I played something, and she said, "Now you're communicating. Now you're saying something."
Mm,
And to hear that frustration was released, and
yeah.
it was, I'd say, a life-changing experience for someone who is deeply creative, to finally hear someone else saying, yeah, I can hear what you're trying to communicate now,
That's amazing. It's giving me goosebumps.
is incredibly powerful. Yeah. So it's taught me a lot about beliefs and my own beliefs and how they can help and limit, and I'm still going through a whole journey on through that as well.
Yeah.